So the cloud development is very significant in the storage industry. Well, in the IT industry overall and in storage in particular. So if we look at the development of cloud as it relates to storage in the past 3 to 5 years, we see the increasing amount of infrastructure, of storage infrastructure is shipped into cloud environment, into public cloud, into private cloud environments. And in a matter of fact, majority of storage capacity which is currently shipped into the market goes into the public cloud environments. And it's definitely not only for content or for data archival or for data protection, although from the beginning of the cloud development, it was thought to be one of the sweetest areas to be put into cloud. But when we do our research on workloads, on how workloads move into cloud, at different rates, all of them are moving into cloud infrastructure. And I wanted to touch base on this whole concept of mission critical versus non-mission critical. There is some conception of what is mission critical, but at the end of the day, it's still a very subjective term. And for some organizations, mission critical workloads are not the same as for other organizations. So in our research, we found that like email systems for some organizations are considered very mission critical. Or like the database infrastructure is usually very mission critical for organizations. Business applications of a different kind can be mission critical or non-mission critical. And in terms of movement into cloud, again, it's happening across the board at different rates. And with cloud services, the variety of cloud services allow organization to have a different level of comfort. So if it's like software as a service, it's exists on the market for multiple years, and those services address some very mission-critical workloads, and organizations already have a decent level of comfort of moving into cloud, and the software as a service is often structured in a way to for end users to see it as a more like private cloud solution. But underneath, like when we look at the infrastructure underneath, it is actually public cloud shared infrastructure. And for infrastructure as a service, our research showed that more than 80% of respondents or end users who use infrastructure as a service are interested more in lift and shift approach, meaning that the workload they're currently running in their data centers, they're interested in moving them into public cloud infrastructure. And those workloads, again, it's across the board. They can be mission critical, they can be not so mission critical, but they are like there are no restrictions why mission critical cannot move into public cloud. So in terms of like management and flow of data between on-premises infrastructures and cloud infrastructures, it's really, there is a big move in the vendor community in terms of the offerings that they currently provide to end users, that it's not just like a point product. It's solutions which utilize resources, all different kind of resources which are available to end users, whether it's like a system which is deployed on-premises in the on-premises data center, or whether these are storage resources which are deployed in the cloud. And it's done in different ways, from policy-based analysis. So like if the software can analyze whether or the storage administrator can provide some rules of at which point data should be moved into cloud, or it can be done like in a more automatic fashion. And as we see the systems becoming more intelligent, and that's where like one of the talks about the artificial intelligence is, when the system become more intelligent and end users having more comfort with this level of intelligence, those things should be done like in a more should be happening more automatically. So like it shouldn't be a job of a storage administrator of trying to schedule the movement of the data. It should be happening in a more automatic, more intelligent way, where the systems, where the storage solution having access to a variety of resources can decide in a very smooth fashion of what is the best place for the data from the economic perspective, from the performance perspective, from the bandwidth perspective. And those data which have to be accessed frequently and the data which require a high level of performance might still reside in the on-premises. Or it can be also defined by some regulations, by some compliance issues. Some data cannot move into cloud, and the organizations might not be comfortable with moving those data into cloud, and would prefer them to keep them on premises. But for other data, the requirements can be very different, and that should be happening in a very automatic way. And so the flash and all flash arrays are definitely like a must-have products for any vendor who has storage solutions on the market. So it was great that Huawei have announced and introduced the all flash array solution. It's relatively young, so it's shipping for just over a year, and we have seen like great rate of adoption during 2017. So functionally, it's very competitive. It's a solid product. And although Huawei was a little bit late to the market compared to its competitors, the company still utilized the approach of building some customization into the solution, which allowed to achieve the functionality which could not necessarily be achieved with some off-the-shelf solutions, which is great. And seeing that that the solution was well received by customers, like especially in Europe, it's a very good kind of customer feedback to Huawei on the introduction of this product. So we're very pleased to see it as a part of the Huawei storage portfolio, and we'll be looking for further developments of the product, expansion of its capabilities, and like we expect that the all-flash array storage on the primary storage side, on the primary data side, it will be the de facto standard type of solutions that will be serving primary data storage. But now with expansion of flash into serving like even secondary type of workloads, we do expect that overall all-flash will be becoming more and more mainstream on the market compared to like hybrid flash products or HDD only products. They will also have their niche, their place on the market, but a majority of revenue in the market will continue to move toward all flash and into multi-workload environments. So it's not only currently targeting performance heavy workloads, or like what traditionally called mission critical workloads. So it goes well beyond those workloads into like all the different kind of environments. And that's what we see that the Dorado product will be expanding into those areas as well. I think a couple of ways how intelligence will impact the storage platform. One is like as it relates to the edge infrastructure. We don't expect there will be like tons of storage on the edge or need for that at the edge, but there will be demand for like quickly processing of the data at the edge and quick reaction. So that's what defines the requirements to storage. So that's why we expect to see like more flash storage. So like NVMe type of storage solutions will be in the demand for edge infrastructure. At the core, with like more algorithms being run in the corporate data center, so in the cloud, there is also like it's like more demand on one hand for performance-focused solutions, but also they will be dealing with tons of data that needs to be processed and analyzed. So we would expect that intelligence will also have impact on data-intensive solutions, whether it's like object storage and distributed file systems. So that will be like in demand as a result in the core locations. And storage systems by themselves, and I think there will be more demand for a high level of automation. Something which I mentioned as one of the big use cases for for AI is IT automation. So there will be definitely more demand for those intelligent functions to be embedded into the storage system. So it's like self-healing, it's some predictive maintenance of the system. So like to reduce all these risks associated with the system downtime that should be taken care of and should be reduced thanks to the intelligence which will be embedded into the systems.